Site-specific training at our mine entrances is very important to us. We have areas where there are typically many events occurring as you enter the mine site. There can be a lot of truck traffic in areas where smaller vehicles are difficult to see, and you need to be alert. Be aware of your surroundings, follow any and all posted signage, and at any time, if you're uncertain, stay in your vehicle as you come onto the property. There will be a designated location for you to stop, park, review, and receive site-specific training. Training is very flexible, but adequately outlined in this video of specific mine hazards and practices that will be provided by a number of different methods, which may include written hazard warnings, oral instruction, signs and posted warnings, also walk-around training or by any other appropriate means that will be informative at our site hazards.
Hello and welcome teammates to Oil-Dri mining operation in Ocklawaha, Georgia. I'm Bobby Battle. I'm your Safety, Health, and Environmental Compliance Specialist for Georgia.
Welcome to the mine in Georgia. The purpose of this video is to make you aware and to help you learn those rules and practices of the site that are in place to help you have a safe, productive visit with us.
The first thing you have to do is sign in, whether you are just working here or visiting. You will be required to show your ID and answer a few questions as part of the sign-in for your visit. Then, you've got to put on your personal protective equipment we call PPE, or personal protective equipment. Safety glasses, prescription safety glasses with side shields, hard hat, steel-toed shoes, security vest or shirt, and earplugs where required. You don't need to wear your hard hat and safety glasses in the cab of the vehicle, but anywhere in the plant, mine, shop areas, or when exiting mobile equipment in the hard hat areas you do. We've got a policy around here. There are no tasks at Oil-Dri so critical that anyone should risk hurting themselves trying to do them. If you know of no safe way of doing a task, you're expected not to do it and seek help in finding a way to safely do it.
This is a HACCP registered facility. Smoking and tobacco products are prohibited at all times on Oil-Dri owned and or leased property, all internal and external parking areas. This applies to the use of privately owned vehicles while they are on Oil-Dri property and all company and or leased vehicles on or off the premises. Food and drinks are allowed only in designated areas. Obey all control and warning signs. Seek Oil-Dri representative if in doubt.
Visitors or workers at the mine are not allowed to wear rings, metal band, watches, bracelets, necklaces, hoops, earrings, nose rings, or brow rings. Medical alert necklaces and bracelets are allowed and will be kept under clothing while performing maintenance or electrical work. You must remove or secure loose-fitting or torn clothes, ties, rings, jewelry, watches, bracelets, necklaces, chains before working around machine parts, conveyors, or moving equipment. Also, clothing which is too tight may restrict movement and can be a hazard. Personal protective equipment should meet ANSI standards for hazard identification. Apparel and accessories that will create additional hazards should not be worn. Loose-fitting, long, dangling clothes should be secured or avoided. Loose jewelry should be secured to prevent entanglement in equipment. Rings, bracelets pose a higher risk and should be avoided. Management of your hairstyle may impact the effectiveness of your hard hat. Work with your local SHE resource if there is any questions or concerns. In order to maintain the safety of you and other teammates, follow the precautions must be adhered to. Any hair past shoulder length, head or facial, must be contained to prevent entanglement in moving equipment.
You'll need to make sure you inspect your mobile equipment before each shift, even if it's a service truck or light vehicle, and document the inspection. Cell phone use while driving mobile equipment, operating equipment, or machinery is strictly prohibited when you travel around our site.
Teammates who use phones for personal use should observe the areas with orange stickers that indicate that cell phone use is acceptable. You'll find these in the break areas and offices, not in the open plant environment.
Here are some other procedures to follow to avoid injury while on our site. While driving on mine property, all vehicle occupants must wear a seatbelt. Beware of and protect yourself and your vehicle from unexpected movement of rail cars and other mobile equipment. You must yield right of way to all mine equipment. Do not drive or park directly behind, in front of, or next to any haul truck or any piece of mobile equipment. Heavy equipment vehicles always have the right of way. all pieces of mobile equipment are required to use backup alarms or a spotter when backing on mine property. You should always pay close attention to backup alarms. Operators must set parking brakes and chock wheels when mobile equipment is not in use on the site. Be sure to pay attention to all caution and warning signs here on the property. You must obey all traffic control signs and warnings. So let's talk more about mobile equipment with all the different types of vehicle traffic we have around the mine site. We have a range of different types of mobile equipment, from forklifts, sweepers, skid steers, front-end loaders, golf carts, to light-duty trucks, dozers, excavators, and haul trucks. Be sure to stay out of their way when you approach a mobile vehicle. Don't enter their blind spot where the operator can't see you, and always approach from the side, or even better, from the front, to make sure you can see the operator and that he or she sees you. You can use a radio to possibly alert operators of your presence. Do not try to pass any mobile equipment unless the operator has given you the go-ahead with communication. If you're following a loaded haul truck, please keep at least 2 truck lengths behind them. That's about 50 feet in case any material falls off their load or have any sudden stops. Remember, all vehicles entering the mine area should always announce their presence to others and yield the right-of-way to mine equipment. You should always obey all traffic signs and posted speed limits. Again, make sure your mobile equipment has been inspected prior to operation for any defects which may affect safety. If you do discover any defects, you should report them immediately to your supervisor before operation. Watch for muddy or rough road conditions when you enter the mine and plant site. If you approach a haul truck, slow down. Never park on the side of the road. If you have to work in the mine, find a nearby place to park where you'll be safe and completely off the road. A characteristic of the material clay we process is that it becomes slippery when wet. Be careful where and how you walk. Avoid wet or damp areas when possible. Please take the appropriate actions to any adverse condition found immediately and notify potential affected teammates in the area. You should use the handrails on all steps and walkways. The weather can change quickly, so always be aware of weather conditions and patterns. Some walking areas can be uneven and can be covered in mud, ice, water, or snow, so be careful when you're walking and how you're walking around. Be especially careful when walking on stairways or ladders. A characteristic of the material clay that we process is that it is absorbent. You should always use safety glasses to prevent dust particles or granules from blowing into your eyes. Welding, grinding, and cutting operations may be ongoing during your visit. Make sure you wear MSHA-approved eye protection to avoid injury. And remember to not look directly at welding operations. Hearing protection is required in multiple designated areas of the plant. Be sure to use them when you're working in a noisy area, specifically anywhere it's posted in or around mobile equipment, or in any area where noise levels are above 85 decibels. There are earplug dispensers like these at various locations around the mine. You're required to wear your hard hat, safety-toed boots, and safety glasses.
Hand protection shall be used in all production and operations areas. Gloves shall be worn on hands in all areas where hard hats are required. Gloves are not required in offices. Remove all metal rings before starting work. Soft silicone rings may be worn under gloves. Loose bracelets should be removed prior to beginning work.
Don't block doorways, electrical panels, or other pathways, and use caution when approaching any caution or danger tape installed. Be aware that work may be performed overhead. You should take precautions to protect yourself and other Oil-Dri personnel from falling objects. You should also avoid walking near or under suspended loads and crane booms. Never put yourself under a suspended load once you've raised it. Properly block it or use jack stands to secure it and prevent it from rolling, falling, or being lowered. If lifting or hoisting, be aware of overhead power lines when using equipment and underground lines when digging. Electrical hazards are present in all large manufacturing facilities. High voltage equipment and installations are present throughout the facility. Stay away from this equipment. And remember, no unauthorized person is allowed to work on electrically powered equipment. Be sure to follow and know Oil-Dri lockout tagout procedures before working on any equipment. Be sure to keep all guards in place. Moving machine parts must be properly guarded. We should never operate equipment with moving parts unguarded. They are guarded for your safety. Also, don't lean on the guards and don't remove them without following the proper lockout-tagout procedure. Fuel oil, sulfuric acid, caustic soda, and other various chemicals are stored on this property. Be aware of storage locations and hazards of each. SDS or safety data sheets are located and available in the break rooms and at designated areas. A few more things to keep in mind. We adhere to the requirements of MSHA. That's the Mine Safety and Health Administration. This includes MSHA Hazard Communication Program as well as Oil-Dri policy. Fire hazards are always a major concern. Procedures must be taken when welding, cutting, soldering, etc. to prevent a fire. Any type of hot work operations are only permitted in areas that are or have been made fire safe. Welding and cutting take place all the time around here, so be sure to steer clear of these activities and don't watch them. You could be in danger of flying sparks, fumes, flashes, or even fires. If you need to do some welding, make sure there is adequate ventilation. Know where the nearest fire extinguishers are and where the proper safety gear, helmets, shields, gloves, gauntlets, and respirators, depending on the situation, according to plant safety rules. So what do you do if there's a fire that is small enough for you to put out safely? Immediately attack it at the base with the correct type of fire extinguisher, and if you can't put it out, evacuate the area and walk, don't run, to your designated head count location and report it. The nearest parking lot will be your assembly area for your safe location, and remember, don't try to fight large fires unless you're trained to do so. In case of emergency, you must know the proper method of evacuating the facility. We have two main types of evacuations: an evacuation which requires teammates to leave the buildings and then directed to the parking lot away from hazard. Then we could have an evacuation requiring teammates to shelter in place and being directed to a designated shelter-in-place room. If you are not sure where to go, seek assistance from an Oil-Dri representative if you are in doubt. And finally, here are some general safety procedures for all Oil-Dri teammates. Be sure to inspect your tools before each use. When working in the plant areas, be sure to wear snug-fitting clothing and adhere to GMP, or Good Manufacturing Practices, in place at our facility. Everyone, including contractors, visitors, truckers, are required to report all injuries and incidents, no matter how small, to on-site supervision on the mine property. Every teammate has the responsibility to immediately report any unsafe acts or conditions to supervision. If you see someone about to get hurt, try to stop the unsafe act or condition, unless doing so puts you in danger. We ask that you respect our safety values and safety practices while visiting our site. These are just a few we've adopted here at the mine to make sure that we maintain a safe and healthy environment for everyone. We will not allow you to bypass safety or overlook violations. If so, we would be compromising our attitude about the value of your life as a teammate. So remember our corporate safety policy. If you know of no safe way of doing a task, you're expected not to do it and seek help in finding a safe way to do it. Thanks for watching and enjoy your visit at Oil-Dri. Most importantly, stay safe.